good, my pack? M.V.K here, back again as always. And today, my pack, we are gonna watch a Watch Mojo video. We're gonna watch the whole thing. Not even gonna break it up. Usually I chop up these lists, but we ain't chopping up nothing this time around. And they're going with 10 superheroes with the best villains. Stop. I gotta stop. So, instantly right away with this, I can already tell you who's gonna be in the top two right off the bat. Don't even have to watch this. Number 1, Spider-Man. 2, Batman. Believe it. Watch. If I get it wrong, I get it wrong. But I'm going number 1, Spider-Man. Number 2, Batman. Who else I'm thinking should be on this list? Flash, the X-Men, the Avengers, Justice League. Those are some people I can say right there. Let's check this out. Here we go. All right. Hit the play button. Thank you. You're going to get your entertainment's worth. Now.
A hero is only as good as their villains.
Yep.
Welcome to WatchMojo.com, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 comic book heroes with the best villains. Before we begin, we publish new content every day, so be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. For this list, we'll be looking at the greatest rogues galleries across both the DC and Marvel universes and beyond.
Okay.
Number 10, Green Lantern.
Oh, wow.
Whether you're looking at Hal Jordan,
Really?
John Stewart, Kyle Rayner, or any number of the other Green Lanterns, it's hard not to admit they usually tend to attract a pretty nasty group of villains. From the dastardly likes of Sinestro and Hector Hammond to the more menacing Black Hand and Parallax. In particular, Parallax's wide-reaching effects of the DC universe over the years and Sinestro's consistent prominence help earn the Green Lantern villains a spot on this list.
Okay.
Number 9, Teenage Mutant
Wow,
Ninja
that
Turtles.
low?
When it comes to the heroes in a half
Really?
shell, we think their assortment of villains is sharply underrated. Apart from the terrifying and imposing Shredder as the obvious example, you can't forget about the evil alien Krang
Right.
or the boisterous duo of Bebop and Rocksteady. The Turtles are also constantly dealing with the dangerous and notorious Foot Clan. All of the team's biggest enemies have become iconic parts of the TMNT lore, and are cleverly written and designed, solidifying their place as one of the best comic book villain rosters
I
around.
wouldn't have had the turtle so low.
Number 8, Daredevil. Matthew Murdock has the pleasure of dealing with the most dangerous rogues gallery of street criminals this side of Spider-Man. Hell's Kitchen is a rough place, with players like Kingpin, Bullseye, and Typhoid Mary hanging around. Apart from dealing with street threats, Daredevil must also defend the city against a legion of ninjas and assassins. From Kingpin's recent mayoral election all the way back to Bullseye's murder of both Elektra and Karen Page, Matt Murdock's life often feels shaped by his villains. The many antagonists to Matt bring a unique blend of styles that often complement the hero in a different way, leading to many great stories told throughout the years. Number 7, Captain America. When you can count Adolf Hitler as one of your actual comic book adversaries, it's hard not to be included on our list. If that wasn't enough, Cap's main rogues gallery is made up of memorable villain after memorable villain, many of whom have also served as major Avengers threats. Hydra, Red Skull, and Baron Zemo are some of Marvel's most prominent villains, and all three often clash with Captain Steve Rogers. Cap's history also includes a fascinating supernatural phase in the 70s that saw him come face to face with vampires and werewolves, and a new era of espionage-influenced villains like the Winter Soldier and Crossbones. Number 6, Superman.
Oh, wow.
Superman is often labeled the boring hero compared to his fellow Justice League members, and his villains are often lumped into that reputation.
Are you crazy?
The long list of Superman villains, however, is understandably lined with big-time heavy hitters. Physical threats like General Zod, Mongul, and Doomsday, along with cerebral foes such as Brainiac and Lex Luthor, are all some of the most dominant villains under DC's banner, with mainstream popularity rivaled only by one other notable DC hero on the darker
Let's just put it like that.
Kal-El's villains often serve as threats that must be dealt with by the whole Justice League, and sometimes, even then, that may not be enough. Number 5, Fantastic Four. Marvel's first family helped build the foundation of Marvel Comics as we know it today, so it's no wonder that their villains are also some of the company's most impactful. Though Doctor Doom is the first to come to mind, he isn't the only threat to come from the pages of the Fantastic Four. The alien races of the Skrulls and the Kree both first clashed in Fantastic Four, as well as the World Devourer Galactus, the time-traveling Kang the Conqueror, and the ruler of the Negative Zone himself, Annihilus. The Fantastic Four's villains have continued to serve as some of the primary threats to the Marvel Universe, even as the team has somewhat faded to the background. Number 4, The Flash. No hero has become synonymous with the term Rogues Gallery the way that The Flash has. The Flash's villains have organized throughout their careers into a team known as the Rogues, with a rotating lineup of criminals such as Captain Cold, Weather Wizard, the Trickster, Heatwave, and more. In addition, some of Barry Allen and Wally West's other foes have made major names for themselves, including super intelligent Gorilla Grodd and the ruthless Reverse Flash. Flash's speed powers have given writers and artists an opportunity to come up with some interesting concepts, with characters able to break out of the standard comic book battle format. Number 3, X-Men. Since 1963, X-Men comics have introduced hundreds of unique and interesting characters, and that includes a long list of incredible villains. From major world threats like Apocalypse and Magneto to mutant-threatening forces such as the Sentinels and the government itself, the X-Men are constantly at odds with an opponent that is fully fleshed out and feels like a genuine threat. The miniseries often use a variety of different villains to explore larger societal questions, most notably civil rights. The team often comes up against fellow mutant enemies or aliens, which also results in some truly memorable character design.
Some shape or form.
Number 2, Spider-Man.
Whoa, okay.
Peter Parker's amazing number of quality villains over the years has
wrong.
helped continue to sustain his popularity and status as a pop culture icon. It's impossible to think about Spider-Man without picturing villains such as the Green Goblin, Dr. Octopus, or Venom. Some have personal connections to the hero, while others are just everyday criminals who have happened upon some abilities or technology, but so many of them have become iconic. Spidey's villains are varied and cover a multitude of power ranges, from street level to ancient totemic evil. Number 1, Batman. The Caped Crusader has, without a doubt, the most iconic lineup of villains in all comics. Partly due to his vast mainstream exposure and partly due to a long legacy of great writing, Batman's enemies have more notoriety than any other supervillain.
What?
Many will proclaim Joker as the greatest comic villain
ever.
And he's just
don't
one of
put
many
me involved with
Bat-villains that are household names. Apart from their popularity, the Dark Knight's Rogues Gallery is made of some of the most disturbing villains in the DC universe, such as Scarecrow and Two-Face. Just think about how instead of bringing his villains to the local jail, Batman is constantly returning them to Arkham Asylum, a home for the criminally insane.
Okay, so I was wrong. I was wrong about the number 1 and number 2. I flipped it. I figured they were gonna go Batman. You know, it's alright, you know, that don't bother me too much. Well, it doesn't really bother me at all, but yeah, when you think about it, Batman and Superman, Batman and Spider-Man and Batman, they have the most recognizable rogues gallery in comics. And it is true. Each one of those characters, most of them have a flushed out story, so you can tell a good variety of stories with them. However, I still feel that in terms of hurting the hero more, Joker has not done enough more than Norman Osborn has done with Peter. That's personally me. You know, that's just personally me. Joker may have shot Barbara and crippled her, but she's walking now again. But Norman was involved with the death of Peter's first love, Gwen Stacy. Something he has still never really truly gotten over, and he can't get her back. And then we find out later on that this disgusting piece of shit Norman Osborn he practically implanted his seed into Gwen, which is probably one of the most disgustingest stories ever. And Gwen had Norman Osborn's children. They became the Grey Goblins, and one of them was a female, the other one was a male. And the female looked just like Gwen. The male, I'm forgetting his name right now, but they became the Grey Goblins. And They're both alive. I believe they're still alive. But Gwen's daughter fell off the same bridge, and I'll never forget it. This was during, I believe this is still during JMS's run of Spider-Man, Amazing Spider-Man, with Mike Deodato doing the artwork. And she fell off the bridge, and Peter was like, not again. Not. So what he do, instead of just webbing her legs, Peter webbed every body part that you can think of. Her neck, her head, her arms, her legs, her back. He webbed her so much that even if the only way she could break something was if Norman crashed into her or something like that. He was not going to lose Gwen's daughter like the way he lost her mother. But yeah, I always, I've always said that you could take Peter's rogues, flip them, and give them to Bruce. And Bruce's rogues can go flip with Peter, and it'll work. It would work. But I was not. Let's see. I'm surprised they didn't put Justice League or Avengers up there, because when I think about Kang, I think of Justice League. I think of the Avengers. I don't think of Fantastic Four. Yes, Kang the Conqueror is related to Reed Richards, but I never really look at him as a. But the Kree, the Skrulls, even the Imperial Guard, Gladiator, first appeared in the Fantastic Four comics. I don't agree with them with Galactus. He's not a villain. People need to stop classifying Galactus as a villain. He's not a villain. He's not a villain. He does what he does because he has no choice. He doesn't do it for world domination and everything like that. No. Other than that, Doomsday is another villain I do not really consider a complete Superman villain. And here's the reason why. Because he's a one and done character. He has had no real longevity. He hasn't. The only thing he's known for is, he's the guy that... The only thing that gives him buzz is the fact that he's the guy that took Superman to the limit and killed him. Okay? That's about it. Other than that, he's nothing. He's nothing other than that. When I think about supes, I'm thinking Parasite, I'm thinking Lex Luthor, I'm thinking Zod, I'm thinking, and number one, I'm thinking Brainiac. A character we need to fucking see in a movie, no doubt about it. They put the Flash. I'm not shocked. I'm surprised they put Captain America there, but because Cap, a lot of his villains, were just pretty much Nazis. A lot. They were talking about in the 70s that he was dealing with werewolves and vampires. Bloodwing is a Nazi vampire. That's all he is. Crossbone came out in the 80s, and Winter Soldier is not a villain. Winter Soldier is not a villain. Bucky's not a villain. It was shocking. That was probably the biggest shock when it was revealed that the Winter Soldier was Bucky. And I've always said that run of Cap was great. I'm shocked they put Green Lantern because Lantern to me is like he's another one that just doesn't have a big enough rogues. And now there's probably gonna be people, how come they didn't put Black Panther? Black Panther, it's hard to, because when you think about Panther, Ulysses Claw, Killmonger, M'Baku are pretty much those big three that you can think of, but there are others. I'm surprised Iron Man wasn't on that list, even though most of his villains were just, most of his villains are just iron versions of himself. But I'm glad the X-Men made it. I did not say the X-Men. I did say the X-Men, so I'm glad for that. But it's their list, guys. It is what it is. But I wasn't wrong about number 1 and number 2. They got flipped. But what say you guys? Do you agree with the list? Who do you feel what villains do you feel has What hero do you feel has a great rogues gallery? And thank you for putting Turtles on that. I would have made him a little higher, especially Daredevil too. But thank you so much. But other than that, you guys take care.